The pipelines are being ripped out, the wires are being redrawn, and the energy map you thought you knew is already dead. For decades, Europe ran on Russian gas flowing east to west. That world just vanished.
Nord Stream 1 pipeline shutdown has left Europe on the edge. It is the biggest single pipeline carrying Russian gas to Germany.
And what's replacing it isn't just different, it's completely unrecognizable. Right now, beneath the headlines, Europe is building an entirely new energy continent. The transformation isn't coming, it's already here. And most people have no idea what's actually happening. So come on and let me show you. Look at the energy map from 2020 and you'll see pipelines flowing from Russia straight into Europe's heart. Nord Stream cutting through the Baltic, Ukrainian routes feeding Germany, Russian gas accounting for 45% of EU imports, a staggering 150 billion cubic meters every year. That map is obsolete, finished. In 2024, Russian pipeline gas to the EU dropped to just 32 billion cubic meters, down 77% from 2021. The arteries that powered Europe for decades have been severed, but the map replacing it looks nothing like the old one. Energy isn't flowing from the east anymore. It's landing on western and southern coasts, being generated locally in former energy deserts and connecting countries in ways that seemed impossible 3 years ago. But here's what nobody saw coming. The countries that used to be Europe's nobodies are about to become Europe's new kingmakers. For half a century, European energy meant dependency. Germany built its industrial model around cheap Russian gas. Italy's factories ran on Gazprom pipelines. When Russia weaponized energy in September 2022, Europe faced a brutal choice: freeze or find alternatives fast. What followed was the most dramatic energy pivot in modern history. Energy trade between EU and United States jumped massively, cementing America as Europe's new anchor. But it's not just swapping suppliers. The entire structure of how energy moves is being rebuilt from scratch. Every pipeline route, storage facility, and industrial cluster optimized for Russian gas is now worthless. Meanwhile, Spain and Portugal, once energy backwaters, are suddenly critical hubs. Poland, long dependent on Russian suppliers, is building infrastructure that makes it a net exporter to Germany. Despite cutting off Russia, Europe spent $112 billion on fuel imports in 2024 alone. But independence doesn't happen by wishing for it. It happens by building something so massive that everyone missed it while staring at the war. And what Europe built along its coastlines rewrote the rules of energy security in under 2 years. What do you think? Is Europe building real independence, or just trading one master for another? Drop your thoughts below, and if you want to understand the new industrial map of Europe, smash that subscribe button because Poland's rise is only beginning. While everyone watched the war, Europe quietly constructed brand new energy infrastructure practically overnight. We're talking about a massive wave of LNG terminals that turned the continent's coastline into a gas import machine. Since the beginning of 2022, Europe increased its LNG import capacity by 23%, adding 58 billion cubic meters. Germany went from 0 LNG terminals to multiple facilities in under 2 years. France and Spain each operate 7 LNG import terminals, making them the continent's champions. But here's the twist. Europe may have overbuilt. The average utilization rate of EU terminals fell from 62.8% in the first half of 2023 to 47.2% in the first half of 2024. Gas demand is dropping faster than expected as industries electrify. Europe built an LNG wall so massive it might not need half of it within 5 years. But that overcapacity isn't waste. It's insurance. It's energy security in physical form. When you can import from America, Qatar, Australia, and a dozen other suppliers, no single country can hold you hostage again. But independence doesn't happen by wishing for it. It happens by building something so massive that everyone missed it while staring at the war. And once again, what Europe built along its coastlines rewrote the rules of energy security in under 2 years. While LNG grabs headlines, something even bigger is happening underground. Europe is building what might be the most ambitious energy infrastructure project in history. A continent-wide hydrogen network that most people don't even know exists. The European Hydrogen Backbone Initiative represents 28,500 kilometers of hydrogen pipelines with the potential to increase to 30,000 kilometers expected before 2030. That's not a pilot project, that's an entirely new energy system being constructed in parallel to everything else. Transmission operators across Europe are taking old natural gas pipelines becoming redundant and converting them to carry pure hydrogen. New pipelines are connecting renewable energy hubs in Spain, Portugal, and North Africa to industrial centers in Germany, the Netherlands, and Poland. Why does this matter? Because hydrogen is the key to decarbonizing industries that can't just plug into the electrical grid. Steelmaking, cement production, and heavy chemicals need energy-dense fuels. Hydrogen replaces coal and gas in those applications. The hydrogen backbone functions as a massive energy storage and balancing system. When sun and wind produce excess electricity, it converts to hydrogen and pumps into the network. When renewables dip, hydrogen gets pulled out and burned in power plants or used in factories. Think of it as Europe's new energy shock absorber. The hydrogen backbone is still invisible to most people, but while Europe races to build this hydrogen future, something from the past just clawed its way back from the dead. And the countries leading this resurrection are the same ones who spent 40 years swearing it would never return. Nuclear power is back. And not just back. It's becoming trendy again across Europe in ways that seemed impossible 5 years ago. Countries that swore off nuclear are reversing course. Denmark announced plans to reconsider a 40-year ban. Spain signaled openness to review shutdowns. Germany dropped its opposition. Even Italy, which abandoned nuclear in the late 1980s, set 2030 as a target for returning. Why the change? Renewables alone can't do the job. Wind and solar are fantastic when weather cooperates, but Europe needs baseload power running 24/7. Nuclear generation increased by 29 terawatt-hours in 2024, pushing clean sources to a record 71% of the EU power mix. France, which never abandoned nuclear, is doubling down. The government announced plans to build 6 new reactors and considering 8 more. France derives about 70% of electricity from nuclear, and that's become an economic weapon. France exports cheap, reliable power while neighbors scramble with volatile renewable pricing. The real excitement is around small, modular reactors. These are nuclear plants the size of shipping containers that can be mass-produced in factories and deployed quickly. Poland is advancing preparations for its first nuclear power plant with 3 AP1000 reactors, with the first reactor expected by 2033. Europe tried running on renewables alone and realized it doesn't work at needed scale. Nuclear provides firm, predictable power that keeps factories running when renewables can't deliver. But this nuclear comeback just divided Europe into 2 camps. The energy winners getting rich and the losers watching industries flee. So who actually wins in this new landscape? And who gets left behind? Spain and Portugal, once energy afterthoughts, are suddenly critical. Their Atlantic coastlines make them the ideal LNG landing points. Their massive solar and wind potential positions them as hydrogen exporters to Northern Europe. Spain aims to develop a core hydrogen network by 2030. The Iberian Peninsula is becoming Europe's renewable powerhouse. Poland is another shock winner. Coal's share in Poland's electricity fell to a record low of 56.2% in 2024, while renewables reached 29.4%. Poland built LNG terminals connected to Norwegian gas and positioned itself as an energy transit hub. Poland has completely stopped importing gas and coal from Russia, dropping from 52% of gas imports in 2015 to 0 in 2025. France, with its nuclear fleet, is selling stable, low-carbon electricity across borders. That's a massive competitive advantage as industries flee to wherever energy is cheapest and most reliable. Now the losers? Germany is in trouble. Despite being Europe's industrial engine, high energy prices are crushing German competitiveness. European energy prices are approximately double those in the United States. Energy-intensive industries like chemicals, steel, and aluminium are at a serious disadvantage. Italy, the Netherlands, and Belgium face similar pressures. They are heavily industrialized, dependent on imports, and watching competitiveness erode as Asia and America offer energy at half the European price. But the biggest winner shocked everyone. The coal-addicted country that had zero chance of transforming just became Europe's energy independence model. Poland's transformation tells you everything about what's actually happening right now. 5 years ago, Poland was a coal country. Over 70% of electricity came from coal. The joke was, Poland's energy policy could be summed up. Dig deeper. Fast forward to today, and the story is completely different. Poland completely stopped importing Russian gas and coal. Poland built LNG terminals on the Baltic coast, connected pipelines to Norway, and positioned itself as a gas distribution hub for Central Europe. Coal is leaving the Polish system in waves, with up to 8 gigawatts potentially disappearing after 2025. Poland's National Energy and Climate Plan aims to reduce coal's share to 22.5% by 2030 and close to 1.3% by 2040. Poland is going nuclear hard. The government plans to build up to 3 nuclear power plants and is eyeing up to 24 small modular reactor units. The first reactor goes online in 2033. Renewables are exploding. Wind power contributed nearly 15% of Poland's electricity in 2024, with solar supplying 11%. Polish households and businesses are electrifying faster than the state can plan. Why does Poland's story matter? Because it proves the transformation is real and happening faster than anyone predicted. A country locked into coal forever is becoming a renewable and nuclear powerhouse in under a decade. Poland's transformation is just the start, and the following reality will show exactly what Europe must pay for moving this fast. The scale of what Europe is spending on this transformation is staggering. The European Commission mobilized close to 300 billion euros to fund the REPowerEU plan. That's just EU-level funding. National governments are spending hundreds of billions more. Despite full independence from Russian resources, Poland alone paid 112 billion zloty for fuel imports in 2024. And Poland is just one country. Across the EU, the bill for replacing Russian energy has been massive. European electricity prices remain approximately double those in the United States. Chemical plants, steel mills, and aluminium smelters profitable at American or Chinese energy prices are bleeding money in Europe. In the first half of 2024, household electricity prices were highest in Germany at 40 euros per 100 kilowatt hours, while lowest were in Hungary at 11 euros. Industrial users are screaming for relief. Some countries are considering exemptions or subsidies for energy-intensive industries to keep them from relocating. But subsidizing the industry means someone else pays more. Households are already spending greater shares of income on electricity. The price Europe is paying isn't just financial. It's economic competitiveness, industrial jobs, and household budgets. Europe bet everything on this transformation. There's no going back. The infrastructure is being built. The old system is being torn down, and the continent is locked into a race to build energy dependence before costs becomes unbearable. Europe's energy map has been redrawn. Russian pipelines are cut, LNG terminals operational, hydrogen infrastructure rising. Poland and Spain position as winners, while Germany struggles to adapt. This transformation reshapes which nations hold power and who pays the price. Decisions made now determine Europe's economic future for decades. If this breakdown clarified the new energy landscape, hit like and subscribe to stay ahead of the shifts reshaping Europe.